Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Addict and today we are back in Hansen River for the tour of my off-camera Build a City Challenge Part 2. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you so much everyone for watching and commenting and liking and enjoying my first video, the first part of this tour. Yeah, it's done really well. It was really exciting for me to sort of get up in the morning after I'd posted the video at night and see the engagement on it. So thank you so much everyone. I'm so glad that so many of you have enjoyed the tour so far and were keen to see more. So here we are, we're going to record part 2 and hopefully you will enjoy this part just as much. So today there are two things that I want to do. I want to finish introducing all the families in the main Hansen River neighborhood to you, and then hopefully I'll have enough time after that to then change things up a little bit, and we're going to take a look at my spreadsheet which I use for my Build a City Challenge, and that basically contains all of my rules, my tracking, my gameplay systems, things that I've changed from the original Build a City Challenge rules, and then things that I've added, things that I've taken out, all that kind of thing. So without any further ado, let's jump in and continue with meeting the residents of Hansen River. So last time round we mainly focused on the descendants of Jebediah and Kaylin Hansen, that massive family tree that is the Hansen family. We did in fact meet all of those Sims. So today we're going to move on and start meeting the extra Sims who moved into the hood. So I did mention in the last video that the first extra Sim who moved in was actually Eric Stanton, who is now married to Carmen, so we've already met him, but he was the first new resident in Hansen River. The second new resident was a woman by the name of Tamara Banks, and she lives here at 2 Banks Street. She had the street named after her because she was the first person to live on the street. I think, did I name this street Stanton Street as well? I might have. No, I didn't. Oh, I should have named that road Stanton Road. I might rename that road Stanton Road. But anyway, yeah, so Tamara Adams moved in. She was a solitary Sim. She came to Hansen River seeking a peaceful place to work on her crafts. She opened the first clothing store in Hansen River, selling a combination of brand names and her own label, Tamara's Threads. So let's jump in and meet Tamara, formerly Banks, now Tamara Adams. So here we have the Banks family home. It is, I think this one is actually potentially a plastic box lot originally. I have tweaked it slightly. I can't quite remember. It may be a plastic box lot. Plastic box on Mod The Sims, by the way, is worth checking out for some really cute small starter lots. But yeah, this is where Tamara lives, and you can see her out the front here playing with her daughter Summer, and this guy is Charles Adam, who is her husband. So Tamara Banks has always had a big passion for arts and crafts, and in particular sewing. Sewing has always been her one true hobby. It is what she loves to do, and she began her clothing store with the intention of selling her own custom label of beautiful dress designs, and was very successful actually. Her clothing store is now a rank 10 business, I believe. She has a staff which help her to run the store. She is actually able to take days off and have it managed, and her next business venture that she would like to get into is actually to open a beauty salon here in town, because that is something that she thinks the town also needs. Tamara is an absolutely beautiful Sim. Apparently her eyebrows are glitched out, so I've got to fix that. But she is an absolutely beautiful Sim. She did move in all by herself. She was single for a very long time. No one was really good enough for Tammy for a very long time, until she actually met and fell in love with a man who was at the time the town reviewer. So maybe a little bit dodgy, but Tammy definitely got some good reviews for her business along the way there as it was working its way up to rank 10. Tammy is a fortune Sim. She wants to purchase a new community lot, which we'll get there because we haven't even started building your salon yet, love. But she wants to become actually business tycoon level 10. We'll see how we go. She does have not that many skills though, because most of her life has been spent gaining talent badges instead. And her traits are that she is avant-garde, she is irresistibly stunning, she is nurturing, she is a social butterfly, and she is a good Sim. Meanwhile, her husband Charles, who I mentioned was the town reviewer, fell head over heels in love with the beautiful Tamara when she first came to Hansen River, and kept coming back to the store time and time again to continue giving her reviews, even though he'd reviewed everything there was to review at that point in time. And eventually he got through, he won the prize. Lots of men were after Tamara at the time, but he was the one who got her, the lucky man, and so he moved in with her and they started their family. He is an artist. His one true hobby is to paint. He absolutely loves art, and he has done his best to bolster the family funds by selling paintings occasionally as well. He's a popularity Sim. He wants to have 20 simultaneous best friends. He has quite a lot of skills. He actually moved in with quite a lot of skills, and of course you will notice that he is a little bit older than Tamara. It's because the reason I did that, I actually aged him up manually because Charles Adams at that time had been in the neighborhood for so long. Like, he had been the town reviewer when Hansen's Fresh Produce first opened up, and he was reviewing Jebediah Hansen's business, you know. And so I was like, okay, well, I can see that, you know, he might have been a bit younger than Jebediah at that time, but realistically he would be much older than Tamara. So Tamara is still like sort of close, just past middle age, whereas he has just aged up into an elder, because I thought that was fair. His traits are that he is artistic, family-oriented, slightly neurotic, and a bit of a perfectionist, and does not like water. The two of them have just one beautiful daughter together, Summer. We met Summer Adams briefly in the schools video, but here she is. She's a really stunningly pretty sim. Of course she is, she takes after her mother. And she has a beautifully decorated room, as you see, and she has lived a really happy childhood. She's mostly been raised by her father, Charles, who took the family role for Tamara so that Tamara could continue to pour into her businesses. And so Charles was always a bit of a stay-at-home dad for Summer, and that has always led them to have a really close relationship, which is really quite nice. So far we know that Summer is a Cancer. She is neat, shy, active, playful, and very nice. So all around quite a beautiful, just like sweet soul. And her traits right now is that she's a genius and a perfectionist, and she's a little over emotional. I really wish that over emotional, like instead of this trait, we had a trait that was more like sensitive, because I see her as quite a sensitive soul, being so shy but also so lovely and neat and nice. But yeah, she has inherited a little bit of her father's perfectionism, but she is also very, very clever, as she has always had lots of great opportunities, lots of really educational toys. She started learning skills from a very young age, so she has quite a lot of logic and creativity from when she was a toddler. And yeah, so that is the Adams family. Very different from the other Adams family that we might all know and love. And now on to the next one. Right, so the next family that we have to meet are the Zhang family, and we have actually sort of mentioned a couple of the members of this household in passing, but the Zhang family live over here, and they came to Hansen River shortly after Tamara Banks arrived, when architect Kamon had heard about the opportunity to help design and build an entirely new town. Popularity sim who thrives on social interaction, can his much shyer wife and family integrate into the community and live a happy and fulfilled life here. So let's jump into the Zhang family and meet who we have here. Okay, so here is the Zhang household, and they have slowly been working at renovating this house for a very highly paid architect. Their income has been stretched thin, I think, just in funding their many interests and hobbies and pursuits and passions. And of course, Kamon really wants to have a very nice, fancy architecturally interesting house, and this one was always meant to kind of be their starter home, but they kind of haven't moved out yet. So yeah, originally this house didn't have this sort of extra space above the garage here. I have actually extended this house quite a lot. Again, this is based on a bespoke build set house, and yeah, so we sort of extended into this area to create a beautiful master suite for Kamon and Opal. Kamon and Luan, and including a nice ensuite as well. Whereas the rest of the house is, this room is very undecorated, don't look at that. And the rest of the house we've sort of slowly been making over. Next job on the list is to actually redo the kitchen, because this kitchen just is not, it doesn't spark joy, it's very bland. But so first, let's meet our Sims here. So first of all, we have Kamon Zhang. Here he is drafting away. This is a drawing that he took of the street outside his house. So Kamon Zhang is a popularity sim, as I mentioned. His lifetime want was to have 20 simultaneous best friends. He was actually quite close to achieving that in the old Hansen River, but in this new one, he doesn't have quite as many friends. He is an architect. He's an architectural partner, level 10 in fact, so he's quite highly ranked in his career, but he does need more logic if he wants to get promoted higher. And to be honest, getting Kamon promoted up in his career has always been a bit of a challenge, because you do need a lot of skills for the architect career, and as a popularity sim he was always a lot more interested in making friends rather than learning new skills. He is an Aries. He is very outgoing, confident, and kind of even on everything else, and his traits are that he is charismatic, a schmoozer, he's a bit easily impressed, he's a bit over emotional, and he's quite perceptive. So his character in my mind, he's just a very happy-go-lucky guy. He will chat to anyone and everyone, and he's very perceptive about them. He notices things about them and gets along with people really well. but when things don't go his way, he can be a little bit sort of volatile about that. Over here we have his absolutely stunning wife, Lawan, and now Lawan is very different to her husband. She has always been quite a shy sim. She never wanted to have that many friends. She is a knowledge sim and has always been more focused on maintaining house and the goings-on of her own little world. Lawan very much lives in her own little world. As a shy sim, she has a very rich internal world, as a lot of shy people do, and that has always come out and been reflected in her writing. She is a very successful author. She has written many books. Unfortunately, again, with the neighborhood rebuild, I lost a lot of her books, so I'm slowly working out building her collection back up. But she wrote a series of children's books when her kids were little. She's written a lot of like thriller and sci-fi books, and in her inventory currently I do believe I have a couple of books. I had her start to write some sci-fi novels based on the colonization of Mars. I don't know why, I must have been watching a talk by Elon Musk about it. But so Nature on Mars by Lawan Zhang. A rich astronaut is sent amongst a team to civilize Mars, handpicked by Elon Musk himself. His job, bring nature to Mars, but in such a rough environment, can he ever bring tranquility to the new settlement? And then the next one was Interstellar Biology. After beginning the botanic life on Mars, our brave astronaut is now on a new mission to explore and help colonize a new planet. But what life will they find through this wormhole? So she's now writing sci-fi. Her one true hobby obviously is films and literature, and she is a bookworm, a snob, perfectionist, very neat and frugal. And if we actually take a look at her Max's personality, you can see, yeah, she's very shy and extremely neat as a Virgo, quite active, very serious, and fairly nice. So she's always been a very hands-on housekeeper. She's always kept the house spick and span and held her children to very high standards. So as I mentioned, they have actually had 2 children. Their firstborn, that's weird that the family tree doesn't display properly. I wonder why that is. I'll have to double check that I've set everybody's family relationships correctly, but that's okay. If we take a look here, so they've had Opal, their daughter, and then they've also had Kulap Zhang, and he actually now resides in the military district. He ran off and joined the military as soon as he aged up to a young adult. He could not wait to get out from under his mother's thumb. Kind of an interesting choice when you consider that the military is actually quite strict and there are rules and things you have to follow, and he did. We'll get to his journey through the military, but he really did struggle with being in the infantry barracks. He got in a lot of trouble and was put in solitary confinement a few times. Their daughter Opal has always been a lot less problematic, and she still lives at home. She's just aged up to an adult, so we will meet her. So Opal has been in a long-term relationship with Denver and Benjamin Long's son, Miles. They were teenage sweethearts and they are still dating. She is just a really pretty sim. I just love the Sims 2 genetics so much. Like, she was born in game. Like, hello. But so she has always done very well. She's a very high performer. She has a lot of creativity skill. She was a violinist. I can't find, not sure where a violin is. Oh, it's over here at the moment. But yeah, so she actually plays the violin very well. This is her lovely room. She is a Gemini. She is very mean, very serious, active, outgoing, and quite neat. So she was actually encouraged to be neater than she originally was. You can't see this very clearly, but originally she only had 4 neat points, and her mother managed to bring that up to 6 through constant reinforcement about the importance of cleanliness. She, as I said, was quite a successful sim, and her traits are that she's disciplined, she's a bookworm like her mum, perceptive like her dad, a bit of a klepto, and also a savvy sculptor. So while she sort of appears to be the perfect daughter, and while she appears to be just this wholesome, beautiful girl, she actually has a little bit of a dark side where she sort of will nick things and steal things as a way of kind of acting out and rebelling against her very strict parents. Her one true hobby is also films and literature though, and she does want to actually follow in her mother's footsteps and write books for a living. So that is what she is hoping to do with her life. This family have never had any active businesses, so Kamon has always just gone to his rabbit hole job, which he is apparently not going to today. That's okay, I'm going to quit without saving, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so Kamon just goes to his work as an architect, Lawan works from home, and so we have no businesses to show off this time. But yeah, this has actually always been one of the my favorite families that I've ever created for a neighborhood, and definitely for this Build a City challenge. When I created them, I really wanted to play a sort of different type of family, one that was quite traditional, one that, you know, I have all these custom Asian meals downloaded, so they eat a lot of Asian food, and yeah, just played with different family values and different family dynamics than what I would usually play with, and it's actually a really fun family to enjoy and to play. Another fun thing was that Opal was actually the first sim in any of my neighborhoods to ever successfully like get her driving license with the driving license mod through actual gameplay, and I was like, yes. Took a lot of driving lessons, but we got there in the end. But yeah, so that is the Zhang family. We will go ahead and meet Kulap in our next video when we go through the military district, but just to give you a bit of backstory on him, he has a similar personality to his sister. He is very serious and quite the grouchy pants. So yeah, he had a very difficult relationship with his parents. In particular, he didn't like his mother because his mother was always too strict and harping on about cleanliness, but he liked her better than his father, who was always super just like blasé, happy-go-lucky, easily impressed, like moved to this new town even though there was nothing here, and Kulap was bored and never wanted to move here anyway. And so yeah, he has a difficult relationship with his family. He did always get along fairly well with his sister, so they are friends. They're not best friends anymore, but they have the closest relationship probably out of anyone in the family. So the next family that I added to Hansen River after the Zhang family was the Air family, and this had two family members, Louise and her husband Econ. So if we read their family bio, first of all, you notice that it is Louise Air, the atrociously evil witch. So on Louise Air's very first night in Hansen River, she was full of hope for the future. She's a family sim, we will notice. With her husband Econ, she wanted nothing but to start living a happy family life until a satellite fell from the sky and crushed her husband to death before they'd even slept in their new bed. Her life was changed forever, and Louise has sworn eternal rage against the Watcher, beginning down a path of dark magic and gold-digging romance to satisfy her ever-burning anger. So that actually is a 100% true story. It really happened. I would never forget this. I was happily playing The Sims 2, happily playing in my neighborhood. I'd just created 2 new Sims, a beautiful family Sim and her husband, and they were going to move in and live this beautiful wholesome life here in Hansen River. They were very poor. They didn't start with much money, so they moved into this really small starter house, and they didn't have anything to do for fun. And Econ, after his first day at work, really needed to have some fun. I can't remember what career I'd put him in, but he was really bored. So the only thing I could think of was to get him to just sit on the ground and stargaze for a minute. And then lo and behold, this satellite right here fell from the sky and crushed him to death. And I was just so shocked. I was like, I can't believe, what? Did that really just happen? Yeah, it did. So here is the beautiful Louise Air playing with her cat. She is a stunningly gorgeous sim. She was originally a blonde, you know, family sim, just wanted to live a happy family life, and then this happened. And I did think about quitting without saving and just restarting, but then I thought, you know what, no, that's no fun. I don't want to do that. I want to go with this storyline. So Louise is still a family sim, and she still wants to have 6 grandchildren, but I guess you could say that her method of achieving 6 grandchildren has now kind of changed a little bit. She is a Cancer, so she was originally a bit nicer. I think I docked her nice points a little bit. So yeah, she was just a Cancer sim. She was always meant to be very wholesome and just friendly and lovely to be around. Yeah, so after that happened, I just thought, what am I going to do with this sim? How am I going to play this in? And I had never really played with witches before, and I thought, you know what a fun idea to make her be a witch. And again, I was a little bit inspired by the channel that I mentioned in my last video, Sims and Wins. She had this witch in her neighborhood who would lure in townies, steal their money and murder them. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to steal that idea. So Louise met the evil witch or warlock in the neighborhood and became an evil witch herself. And then using her natural beauty, her, you know, family sim charm, she meets elderly townie men. She gets them to move in with her. She takes everything from their inventory. She takes all their money. And then she locks them in a basement, in a dungeon downstairs. This is where she practices her magic. And she kills them. So far we've killed Leo Wilkie and another one named Warren Jung. Econ, by the way, is still buried in the backyard. Here he is. May he rest in peace. But so her traits are now that she is evil. I gave her that trait. I changed one of her traits out for evil after this all happened. She is still nurturing. She does still want to have children, and potentially she will maybe adopt some kids or get some kids from some of these townie guys before she murders their faces. She's never had that much money because she doesn't work. She literally just gets money from killing townies. So maybe if we manage to marry a really rich townie at some point, she'll get some kids before she kills them. She is irresistible, which makes it easier to lure them in. She's also a green thumb. This was one of her original traits that I did keep, and she is a mooch. So she also does have a little bit of like a supernatural garden going on out the back here. So she's got some death plants, life plant, and plasma plant growing. And then she's also got some more regular garden growing out here as well. So she does grow her own fruits and vegetables as well as some supernatural ingredients. And yeah, this is her little house. We redecorated it in a very dark theme. Originally it was decorated really colorful and bright and happy, and then yeah, her tastes changed somewhat. So she is an evil witch, and I actually play with some custom spells. So I have a pack of custom spells by Pandora Sims. So we actually have a bunch of extra spells that we can do with her, and eventually I would love to be able to unlock. I think Pandora Sims have one spell that's like just instant death, like you literally just cast the spell and it kills them. So Quake is one of the custom ones, smashes all breakable objects. Lightning makes a thunderstorm and lightning strikes. Ice Storm makes it hail. Bladderbuster makes Sim pee themselves, that's a funny one. Thunderbolt kills the target Sim just immediately. Death. So that's the one I'm trying to work up to, but you do need quite a lot of ingredients to get that one to happen. Sorry about my child crying, by the way. My husband is with him. Tidal Wave makes puddles appear all over the lot. Dark Cloud makes a Sim into a vampire. Wolf's Breath makes a Sim into a werewolf. And yeah, so those are some really fun custom spells that I have got, but she is completely and utterly evil. And by the way, if you watch this video, this was the Sim who I was playing a while back when I messaged you on Tumblr, and I was like, hey, it would be really cool if when evil Sims, Sims with the evil trait, watch a Sim die, they laugh. Because Louise gets sad when her townie victims die, and I'm like, that doesn't really fit her character. So by the way, little shout out to FW Sims, who makes the most amazing trait mods on Tumblr. You gotta check him out. This is the Sim. This is the Sim who I was talking about. And the other interesting thing to note about Louise is, of course, we might remember from last video that we were meeting someone called Ismira Stanton, who had a want to fall in love with someone named Louise. Well, this would be that Louise. So I'm still sort of thinking about how exactly I want to play that storyline out. Maybe Ismira will sort of team up with Louise and be her secret sidekick and help her find townies to marry and rob. Louise has always been a straight Sim, but you know, maybe she could get a little bit curious to try some things out with Ismira. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to continue to play her. The other thing that I want to do with Louise is actually move her to a very different lot in the neighborhood. Right now we will notice that she's kind of right here in the middle of suburbia, and that does mean that Louise is currently a little bit in hiding. She lives literally right opposite the Banks Adams family and also Deborah Long, that's who those two houses belong to. So yeah, she's kind of overlooked here a little bit, and I actually have a lot in mind for her to move to, which I created especially for her in SimCity 4 the last time I was editing the map, and I will show that to you. So way over here sort of is the Hansen farm, and then behind that is this little patch of road with a spot that I would like Louise to live. So eventually she'll probably move out here to the forest, have a little bit of a castle, and live out all of her evil dreams and goals and desires. But for right now, she is kind of stuck in suburbia and kind of limited by what she can do. But that is Louise Eyre. That is her story. One of my favorite Sims, and yeah, definitely a very unique and interesting character to play. So the next families that I have to introduce to you, I don't have as much backstory on, I will be honest, because they have actually only just joined the neighborhood. So first of all, we have the Dillon family, and if you watched my schools video, you will have already met this family, but let's go in and meet them again anyway. Now obviously you don't have to have your teachers be part of the same household, it's just something I kind of did. Summer Adams, what are you doing here? That's right, the babysitter's here as well. Okay, everything's fine. And Michael Justice, one of our military Sims, is here, and Abby's like, hey, they're good looking. Look at her face. Anyway, so yeah, the Dillon family did move here. They got a call that, you know, the neighborhood was looking for teachers, and they decided to answer it. So they have moved into this beautiful bespoke home, which I have sort of tried to do up in Abby's style. She is a lover of the color purple, so I've tried to decorate it with touches of purple everywhere. So yeah, one of the things I'm really proud of is in this house is actually the kitchen. I thought this came together really nice. I actually spent some extra time detailing it, inspired by Kaylee83. Thank you, Kaylee, for your detail and clutter inspiration. But still lots more cluttering and detailing to do because they just need a little bit more money. This is their bedroom in here, and they did just have a baby, little Tamsin, so she's currently in a Moses basket in there. Little downstairs laundry. And then upstairs is very empty right now, but they are, Owen is a family sim, which means they'll probably have at least 2, maybe 3 kids. They do have the upstairs bathroom furnished at least, so that is something. But in terms of the sims themselves, so we'll start with Owen Dillon. So here he is. These were both Pooklet created sims, so their genetics are all random. So he is a Virgo. He's very neat, shy, active, serious, and mid-tier nice. His one true hobby is science, and his traits are that he is athletic, a genius, a little neurotic, but brave, and a supernatural fan. When I say his one true hobby is science, he's kind of interested in sci-fi and yeah, believes in the existence of aliens, and doesn't talk about it too much, but that's kind of his MO. He's very shy, so he doesn't force his opinions on other people, but yeah, he's big into all that kind of thing. His wife Abby, she's quite a cute and unique looking sim. I'm happy with how she turned out. She is a Cancer. Her one true hobby is music and dance. She is partial to the piano. That is her instrument of choice. And she is an adventurous sim, excitable, virtuoso, also a bit neurotic and flirty. So it was really Abby who wanted to come to this new town and answer the call to become teachers in this new neighborhood. Being an adventurous sim, she is always up for, I guess, you know, exploring new places and trying out new things. So it was really her that sort of pushed to make this move, and Owen just sort of came along for the ride, and it remains to be seen if he'll actually be overly happy here, but I think as long as we have a couple of kids, he should be okay. So as I said, yeah, I don't know these sims as well because I've only played through like 1 week with them in game, and that's it. But they are a very fun couple. I do like them a lot, and I can't wait to see more of where their story goes and to finish furnishing and decorating their house. Also, a back fence would probably be welcome, wouldn't it? Okay, now the next sims, I don't know at all because I have only just created them and moved them in. There are 2 families who have just joined the neighborhood. One is the Williams family and the other is the Mackenzie family. Where does she live? Sorry, not Mackenzie family. Mackenzie Edwards is her name, and she lives here. So the Williams family is Ariana and Jude. Now, Ariana, I know like why they moved here. So Ariana has moved here as a budding politician. She has heard about Hansen River's growth, and the population is booming. The town hall was built, and she, as a budding and very ambitious sim, wanting to become a mayor, as we see here, she has moved to the town to answer the call. Oh, I need to fix this rug. But yeah, so this is the house that they've moved into. This is the bespoke build set carriage house, I believe it's called. It's not particularly furnished yet, but I have been trying my best to decorate it. I decorate now with color palettes. So this color palette was sort of blue and yellow inspired, with some other like deep brown woods and sort of neutral colors. But yeah, so here is Ariana. She was a Pooklet created sim who turned out just gorgeous. So yeah, she's a popularity sim. She wants to become a mayor, and her traits are that she is ambitious, charismatic, a heavy sleeper, a born salesperson, and an angler. So she is in the politics career. She's a campaign manager level 4. Sometimes when I move new sims into the neighborhood, I go ahead and give them a job, and I boost them up a couple levels because I'm like, you know what, this is your backstory, this is your come from. You are a politician and you have moved here because you want to become a mayor of this town eventually, if possible. So she's going to try to get to know the Bertino family, I think, and at the moment she's a campaign manager, so maybe she'll like run a campaign for Orlando Bertino to become the mayor, but then maybe after he goes, then she'll become the mayor. Yeah, not sure yet how that's going to play out, but yeah, sometimes I do go ahead and give my sims a job. Like obviously the Dillon family, I made them both teachers, and yeah, I think that sort of thing is fun. fun. And then her husband Jude is so cool, another Pooklet created sim, and he is a fortune sim. He wants to become business tycoon level 10, so he will definitely get into the business career and work his way up. He is a Virgo. Oh, what was your star sign? Oh, you're a Cancer. Okay. He's a Virgo, so he's neat, shy, active, serious, normal. And then his one true hobby we don't know yet, but his traits are that he has a good sense of humor, he's family oriented, he is a little shy, he's neat, and he is a bit eccentric. I believe I randomized those traits, but with assigning the Sims traits, this is a good thing to talk about. I tend to, if I have a trait in mind, then I will go ahead and give them that trait. If I have a personality for the sim in mind, I will go ahead and give them any traits that I think, yes, that fits this sim. If there is then room for more, I'll just hit the randomize button and see what comes in. If there's something I don't like, I'll delete it. I'll try again. I'm not like, I don't play by the rules of pure randomness, I guess. I play by the rules of like, what's fun for me? What exactly do I want to have happen here? So I have a feeling that Jude is going to be very successful. Another shy businessman like Eric Stanton, maybe he'll try to get to know Eric Stanton and sort of Eric might take on a bit of a mentorship role with Jude, I'm not sure, but yeah, this is Jude and Ariana. I'm sure they'll have a couple of babies as well. You can see obviously he already wants to have one. But yeah, so they've literally just moved in. I don't think I've played them at all. So I will get to know these Sims a little bit more in my next round, which will hopefully be starting soon. They only have 298 simoleons at the moment as well, so really need to start bringing in some cash. So then last but not least, here we have the lovely Mackenzie Edwards living in this beautiful little plastic box house that I downloaded off Mod The Sims. This is her face. She was another Pooklet sim, very interesting looking, quite serious faced, but I gave her this really cute little puppy dog sweater because her main interest and her life goal is to actually be the friend of all the animals in the town. She is going to open up a pet store and animal shelter. So she will be taking in strays and reselling them to the community. She might also take in, if there are people breeding dogs, she might take them in and resell them to the community. She hasn't started her business yet, but that is what she will be doing. So this is her beautiful little house, as I mentioned, and this is, it's very sparse. There's not much to it at this point in time, but we'll get there. So yeah, this is definitely not decorated to my standards yet, but it's okay. All in good time. So she doesn't have any animals yet. She did meet one stray dog, Lucky, and didn't get off on a very good foot with her. Apparently she already knows Izmira Stanton somehow. She must have been coming to the gaming arcade. Oh, I haven't randomized her skills yet, so I will actually do that. That's another thing I do with brand new adult Sims who join the neighborhood, is I do tend to give them a couple skills that I think would suit their character. So let's do that live. So she's a pleasure sim, right? So she probably is a relatively charismatic sim. Let's take a look at her personality. She's quite sloppy, okay, so she's not going to have any cleaning points. She's quite active and playful, so she might have some body skill. And then she's fairly nice. Her interests, she's quite into paranormal travel, animals, of course. Not super into food. So she probably isn't that good of a cook. So I'm going to give her 2 cooking skill points because I just can't handle having a sim with none. I'm going to give her maybe 2 charisma points because she's not as outgoing as I originally thought that she might be. I'm going to give her some body skill points because she's an active sim. I'm going to give her a little bit of creativity because she is quite playful and maybe likes to, you know, paint or do something like that. Her one true hobby is nature. Okay, so then maybe I could give her like 1 cleaning skill point. Yep. And then in terms of her traits, she is an animal lover, she is athletic, childish, and loves the outdoors, and then she is also a bit of a slob. So yeah, we might have her do a little bit of a garden too. I'll probably have her be a sim who has quite a beautiful like flower garden, probably more so than like have growing food. She will have some beautiful plants and things. But yeah, so Mackenzie is going to be opening up, as I said, a pet store here in town when I play her. Her favorite color is pink too, obviously, if you couldn't tell. And that is going to be her role in the neighborhood. So can't wait to sort of get to know Mackenzie a little bit better, but right now she's just a brand new sim in my hood. Okay, so that is actually all of the households in my main neighborhood here in Hansen River. As I mentioned last time, we do actually have a subhood, which is the Hansen River Military Base. We are going to cover that neighborhood in my next video, touring my Builder City Challenge. This is going to be a little mini series at this point. But for now, we're going to jump into something a little bit different, and that is my spreadsheet. So I'm a spreadsheet lover. I love spreadsheets. I like gameplay rules, I like systems, and I like tracking things in spreadsheets. So if this is not something you're interested in, feel free to click off the video now. Thank you so much for watching. However, if you're another fellow spreadsheet lover, let's dive in. So the first thing I did when I put this spreadsheet together was I tried to summarize the main rules of the Builder City Challenge, because if you look at the original rules of the challenge, you might be a little bit overwhelmed because there's a lot, and there's a lot of text, and there's a lot of reading, and you might be like, this is too much and I don't know what's going on. Totally get that. So yeah, I did try to kind of summarize and create spaces to track the main things in the Builder City Challenge. So the basic concept of the Builder City Challenge is, as I said, you start with a single sim household. Some newer rule sets will have that you start with multiple households. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 6 households. Maybe you roll a random number between 1 through 6 to decide how many households you start with. If I were to restart a Builder City Challenge or start a new one tomorrow, I would definitely start with more than one household. I think that was really hard to start with just one household, and they're really lonely, and I kind of wanted more sims that I could play with. So I would probably start with at least 2, maybe 3 households personally, but that's totally up to you. Anyway, sorry, basic concept is you start with one household. You unlock extra creator sim slots by placing community lots. There are 2 main methods to get community lots, which I've written down here. Method A, this is copy pasted basically from the rule set. With every 4th household that you establish in your neighborhood, you automatically earn a community lot of any size or type you choose. Lots earned in this manner may not be purchased by a sim and may not have player-owned businesses on them at any time. So keep track of how each community lot was earned. For example, you can place a restaurant using this method, but you can never have a sim purchase and run that particular restaurant as a business. Community lots earned in this manner must be placed as soon as possible after being earned. You may not save them up in order to save space until you have, say, a business district to plop them all in. Hiya, Editing Beth here. So I was just reviewing this footage, and it says in the spreadsheet and in the original rules that when you get a free community lot, you can't have a sim purchase it or run a business on it. I actually don't 100% play according to that rule, because I have like a 3rd category of community lot called a government business. For example, a school or a police station or a fire station. And the town hall would be another example of that. So with those lots, I have a government stipend where a sim in the neighborhood will own the lot technically, but then they have to sell it back if they ever no longer are working in that lot. So yeah, I don't actually play by that rule of like any lot that you place as per the 1 lot per 4 households rule may not have a business on it. I don't play by that rule. So anyway. Okay, bye. Method B. At any time, you may place a community lot, but you must have a playable sim immediately purchase the new lot and run a business on it. You can have sims save up money to purchase a lot outright, although this takes a lot of time. The other rule that I actually have in my hood, so I'll actually amend this, so I'll say, or a sim may take out a loan using Monique's hacked computer or loan jar. Okay, so yeah, method B is basically that you pop down a community lot and you have a sim immediately buy it and start a community lot business. So whenever you get a new community lot, you unlock 1 new creator sim slot, and then you can create a new sim to move into your neighborhood. So yeah, I have all of my sort of town stats tracked over here. So in terms of how many households I currently have 24 households in my main hood, which actually, that might be in my main hood plus the Hansen River Military District. But what that means is that I have unlocked 6 extra community lots, because it's 1 per 4 households, right? So that means I can have 6 extra community lots. So if we take a look at the rest of my stats, I say I've built 5 and I have 1 more available, because by my rules, the town has to pay for these community lots. So the ones that I've built so far, we have a park, a church, a town hall, we have the school, which is a government business, and then in the military district we have another park, the Canyon Park. So if we take a look here in the main neighborhood, this is the Hansen River Park. And this was the first just government recreational park space proposed by Kamon Zhang and funded by the town council. So the town had a little meeting when we had unlocked our first public lot with our 4 households. So I think it was the Elder Hansen member, Tamara Banks, the Stantons, and the Zhang family. Yeah, something like that. They had a little town council meeting and they decided to build a park for the neighborhood. And so this is the park that we built. Very simple. With a little public space for eating over here, as well as a nice little sort of garden in the corner, this nice little public toilet, and of course a big playground in the back for the kids, as well as just some beautiful big open green space so you can come down and toss a football or play catch if you want to as well. So this was the first of those public community lots that I opened by having 4 households in the neighborhood. When we got up to 8 households, we then bought and paid for the second community lot, which was the Hansen River Church. And that one I placed because I wanted a church lot for my Sims to get married at. So that one is actually over here in the main sort of CBD district, and that is a church that's actually available for download on Mod the Sims, I want to say, and I've actually extended it and sort of renovated it, so I'll show you guys this one. So yeah, this is a church that you may recognize. I believe that Pleasant Sims might have used it in her Pleasant View series. Originally it comes with a basement that I deleted because it was just inconvenient. But so this is a wedding lot essentially. So the Sims can get married inside the church. I don't currently have like a town priest or anything. That might be something that we do in the future and actually hold church here and they can all pray to the Watcher for their mercy. But yeah, so this is the inside the chapel. Quite nice, I think. Very picturesque for weddings. Then we also have this beautiful little outdoor area for garden weddings. If the Sims choose to have a garden wedding, they can do so. And then over here we actually have like a little reception room, which was a lot of fun to make as well. Oh, it looks like my chairs have actually changed colour. Thanks for the chair defaults, Lord Crumps. Okay, that's better. But yeah, so Sims can actually hire this lot. They pay a fee to the town government and they can hire this lot for their wedding. So we have a nice dance floor area. We have a buffet set up, toasting, you know, cake cutting, all that good stuff, as well as a bar and some toilets. So that was the second public lot that we placed here in the neighborhood, which was very exciting. Then the third community lot that we bought and paid for with the town funds was the town hall, and I actually have a whole speed build video here on the YouTube channel that you can watch of me building this. So if you want to see this lot in more detail, go ahead, check out that video. I will put a card somewhere up there where you can, with a link to that one. And then the next one that we did was the school, which if you want to see that one in detail, you can watch my video all about how I play functional schools. And then the other one's in the military district, so we'll save that for next time. But yeah, so we do actually currently have one more lot available that we can pay for and start to play. So I might save up or do a donation drive and try to unlock the high school, which I have already built, maybe, or we might actually try to save up for the police station that we desperately need. However, right now the town treasury only has 1,912 simoleons in it, and I actually keep a track here of how much everything is worth, so I can know how much everyone paid for things. And then over here I also actually have, you can see here, a record of who donated the most money for the schools. So the Bertino family, oh, they didn't donate as much as I thought. They donated 70,000 simoleons for the primary school. The Stanton family donated 25,000. Louise Eyre, the evil witch, donated 5,000 because she's a family sim. School's important, and she's living in hiding, so she doesn't want anyone looking too closely in her basement, you know what I mean? So she's like, yeah, have money for schools. It's very important. And then Deborah Long also donated 5,000 simoleons for that. I also keep track of how many Creator Sim slots I have open. So 1 per community lot, so I actually have 2 slots open right now. That is because I have 13 community lots and I have only added 11 Sims so far. So this is another thing that I keep track of, is what Sims I have added to the neighborhood through Creator Sim and in what order. And the reason for that is otherwise I just lose track and I don't remember how many new Sims I've moved in versus how many I haven't, and I don't remember all the rules and everything, and I'm like, and I get confused. So I keep a track of that. I also keep a track of, yeah, the community lots that I have built here. Then up here we also have some information about our population, how many playable Sims we've got. Our population is the amount of playable Sims we've got times our multiplier. The multiplier is kind of weird and confusing, and something I'm thinking of getting rid of, to be honest. But essentially it's meant to just bolster up your population. So I guess with 56 playable sims, we're pretending that there's another 400 odd sims just living in the area that walk around. But I'm honestly thinking about getting rid of that whole multiplier system, because I think it's just not really necessary. But basically you get a multiplier point for having your first community lot, then you get another point per 5 more community lots that you get. So I have 2 points for that. And then we get 5 added to the multiplier for any business district, downtown or university we get. So I have a current multiplier of 8. I also keep track of burglaries and fires that we have in the neighborhood, and that is because to get access to those careers, so positions open up in those careers, per 3 of each thing. I keep track of how many business districts we've got unlocked. So we've got 2 unlocked, but we've only used 1 so far. I also keep track of my townies, and now townies is something that I've actually added an extra rules for. So the original challenge rules don't really have anything on townies, so I kind of just came up with my own thing. So I say that for townies, I get 3 townies per community lot in the neighborhood, plus an extra 5 if I hit a level 10 business. Now, townies are kind of essential for Build a City challenges, because it's really hard to get a business up to level 10 if you don't have any townies. The reason being, to get a level 10 business, you need customer loyalty stars, and each sim has a maximum of 5 customer loyalty stars. So to get a level 10 business, you need to have something like a couple of 100 customer loyalty stars spread across the population. So you really do need townies for that. And so when I get a level 10 business, as a reward to myself, I give myself 5 extra townie slots. So then I keep a track of how many townies I've got over here, what NPCs I've got as well. I keep a track of who I would like to age up. And when I add townies, I tend to, if I can, add them in as children, and then sort of have them grow up in the hood. You know, they start in the primary school, then I can see them in the high school, then they'll join the townie pool as adults. With the townies, I also have goals for age breakdowns, and I try to keep the gender breakdown roughly 50-50 as well. So I have a goal of 20% elders, 55% adults, 15% teens, and 10% kids. These are completely arbitrary numbers. I literally just made them up. It was like, yeah, this feels good. This feels about right. So you can see I actually do need to create some more townies, and I actually have created 8 new adults to join the neighborhood. I need to move them in. But yeah, so I keep a track of who I want to have age up, and I will go ahead and probably just do that in between rounds when I'm sort of like doing some maintenance on the hood. Then we've got some rules here about how to earn subhoods or business districts. So you get 1 subhood when you reach the top of the business career, which Eric Stanton did, and then you get 1 district per 5 player-owned community lots of any rank. And then you also get 1 business district per business tycoon sim. So every time you have someone max the business career, basically you get a subhood, and per 5 player-owned community lots, you get a subhood. Subhoods can be anything that you want. Basically, they can be like the military district, like I did. You could have vacation worlds if you wanted to. So I think the next subhood that I add will probably be a vacation world. It'd probably be a custom one. I'm very looking forward to building that. And yeah, to unlock university, you've got to raise a crap ton of tax money. It's set to $1 million by default. I'm thinking about halving this to 500,000 because $1 million is just a lot, but I don't know. Or, can't remember if this is a default rule or if I added it. It's probably a default rule. Or if the population reaches 50,000 sims, you get a state university. That's with the multiplier. So if I get rid of the multiplier rule, I'll take that down to something a lot better. Then for each university you found, you get 1 community lot to start with, plus an extra community lot for each 5 graduations you have in your university. So per 5 sims that graduate, you can then put down a new community lot. I will probably also have my sims pay tuition. So I will have the university have its own kind of budget for their community lots and extra amenities. The downtown unlocks when population reaches 25,000. Again, this is with the multiplier. And again, I don't know, I might change this, but we'll see. Now that is something that I actually meant to say before I jumped into this whole explanation of my spreadsheet and Build a City Challenge rules and all of this world. The main point of playing a video game is to have fun, okay? So if you're looking at these rules and you're like, this is so complicated. Are you sure this is fun for you? Yeah, it is. It is. I have a lot of fun with all this kind of thing. But if that's not your cup of tea, that's not your cup of tea. If it's not fun for you, that's fine. Play by whatever rules you want to play by. If you then come across something in gameplay, say you're trying to stick to the Build a City Challenge rules, and then something comes up and you're like, I don't like that rule. Change it. You are the master of your own game. You are in control. You can change it to whatever you want it to be. So I am constantly tweaking and editing my rules. I'm constantly tweaking things to make it more fun for me. And that is just something I want you guys to take away from this video. Is if you want to play a challenge or do something with rules, make sure they're fun for you. Don't get stuck in playing by the rules if you're not having fun. Okay? It's very important. I have some information here about the military district, which we'll go through in our next video, so we'll skip that for now. And then just a list of just sort of general ideas I have for community lots that I want to build. Now the careers tab is another complicated one. So the original Build a City Challenge rules comes with a lot of rules about careers, when they're locked, when they're unlocked, how many people you can have in them. Some of them are about having a university built, some of it's about having certain community lots, some of it is about having certain population levels. So I have gone through and written down everything that was in the original challenge rules. I've added in rules for my custom careers that I have, and I have tweaked the rules as I see fit, as I just explained. If I look at a rule and I'm like, nah, that's too much. Like, pizza delivery is locked until we get a population of 500. Say I didn't like that. I would be like, maybe let's change that to population of 250 instead and make it unlocked. It's all up to you. It's whatever you want to do. But I keep track of all that in my careers spreadsheet, and I have some information here about who is in certain careers as well. My aspirations tab, this is something that might be familiar to some of you if you've been around the Sims 2 community for a long time. This is a aspiration calculator. So I base my Sims' aspirations on a mixture of their interests, their personality, and their zodiac sign. And then I also have on this page a sub-hobby system. So for the broader hobby titles, I then have a breakdown of things that they can get into as part of that hobby. So I will try to give all of my Sims a sub-hobby. So say someone likes music and dance. Okay, well, do they like dancing? Do they like stereo dancing? Do they like ballet? Do they like break dancing? I don't know. Or are they into an instrument? Piano, synthesizer, violin, singing, guitar, bass, or drums? Just an example to make the hobby system a little bit deeper. I tend to use this when calculating mostly secondary aspirations, but I also do sometimes use it when my Sims age up into an adult, or a teenager, sorry. If I'm not sure what I think their aspiration should be, then I'll also use this to calculate their primary aspiration too. The playables tab, this one just has information about all of my playable Sims, things like their names, how old they are, their zodiac, aspirations, lifetime wants, careers, bank accounts, personalities, traits, favorite colors, turn-ons, turn-offs. This is based on a mixture of Pleasant Sims's spreadsheet as well as Annie's, and then I've just like put in things that are interesting to me. The military base we'll go through next time. Townie spreadsheet we've already been through. So now the last sort of big one is probably the finances tab. And we had a bit of a look at this before. This is where I keep track of the neighborhood treasury. So this is different to the original Build a City Challenge rules. I don't even know what the original Build a City Challenge rules actually are. But essentially, I have a tax system. It's a little bit complicated, but this is loosely based on the tax system in Australia. So we pay tax based on our income. There are different tax rates for different income brackets. So I track how much money my Sims earn. I track any bank account interest they get paid, or any, if they have the Fortune Sim reward of like investment, hey, you received this return on your investments today. I'll track that. Then I also track their house value, business value, and the value of any other things that they own. For example, a holiday home, and they pay council rates on those, because that's another thing that we have to pay. This is only for if you own a home, though. If you're renting, you don't have to pay council rates. Other fees, so I have fees for owning cars, for having kids in school, or having a registry of marriage or death or pet. I do also have burial fees. And then we also have deductions. So you get deductions for a few different things. You get 1,500 simoleon deduction for home ownership, a 1,000 simoleon deduction for being married or in a de facto relationship, 500 simoleon deduction for any dependents under 18. You get a once-off adoption credit if you adopt a child, You get a deduction for each business that you own of 1,500 simoleons, and you also get a clean energy rebate of 250 simoleons per device. So if you have solar panels, if you have a lot of solar panels, you get quite a big deduction. For example, this is someone I did recently. So they earned this much, 3,500 from their work in the military career. They got a total of 400 simoleons on their bank account. Then they are renting, so they don't pay, or their military sims don't have to pay council rates because all their homes are owned by the military. So that's fine. They didn't have any fines. They didn't have any deductions. And so their income bracket was therefore 3,900 simoleons. So they had to pay $78 in tax. If they had earned over 5,000 simoleons, they would have had to pay 117, which would be 10%. It's only 7% for that, and it's 5% for under 2K. For income between 10 to 20,000, they pay 15%, and for income greater than 20,000, they pay 20%. Whatever taxes they pay go into the town treasury. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you're not all terrified by what you've just seen. But that is basically my tax system. But again, I find it fun. I don't know. Other things that would go into the neighborhood treasury as well will be if any sims donate extra money. They can always do that if they're rich. The Bertino family, for example, make donations for extra things. And then when people donate, I tend to like recognize them in the community. Say, for example, if the Bertino family end up donating 100,000 simoleons towards the university, they might get a dorm named after them or a main university building named after them. Any government salaries are paid out of the town treasury. For example, the teacher salaries come out of the town treasury. When we have a police station, those wages will probably come out of the town treasury too. I think that's all I can think of for now. I'm sure there's like extra things that I'm forgetting, but it all comes out of the town treasury. So that's about it. I hope that I didn't lose half my audience with this section, but this is my spreadsheet and this is how I like to play The Sims 2. I'm a nerd. But anyway, guys, so that is gonna do it for today's video, and I hope, as I said, that you've enjoyed it. And next time we are going to tour the military district. So I will go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek of that. So this was the first ever business district that I put down, and basically it just takes the military career and makes it a whole lot more interesting. This is my military base. In my headcanon, it's just downriver of Hansen River. This road meets up with like the road that comes out of the little square CBD area, and this river continues on up into Hansen River, Maine. And yeah, so this is the neighborhood that we're going to take a look at next time in my next video. So hopefully you guys are still interested to watch that. It is very fun. I like playing the military. That's currently what I am in the middle of playing through to finish off my rotation. So that'll be, yeah, what I play hopefully tonight will be a few of my military sims. But if you have enjoyed this video, it would mean so much to me if you could leave a like. Thank you all again so much for the love on my first video in this series. Leave any comments or thoughts down below. Let me know what you think I should do with the love affair potentially between Izmira Stanton and Louise Eyre, because that's a real interesting one. I love The Sims 2 for just coming up with these kinds of storylines. And of course, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, and I will try to have the next and final part of my Build a City Challenge tour out sometime in the next week. Thank you all so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Dag dag!